Hello Pisces, this is your reading for May 28th to June 3rd. Pisces, sun, moon, or rising. Let's go ahead and have a look and see what messages come through for you Pisces. Pisces, May 28th to June 3rd. We also have Memorial Day coming up if you are in the US. So go ahead and take some time to do some creative writing, Pisces. I know you like to do your artwork and your creative projects. Maybe you have some music you're working on. Maybe you're painting. Maybe you're doing some crocheting or sewing or any kind of creative projects. And so go ahead and take some time out to do that. Let's see what messages comes up for you, Pisces, for this week. Okay, so let's get these cards a little bit more focused. So I feel like there is definitely something that you're kind of waiting on. Maybe there might be some stagnation here. I think there's definitely some changes happening. This is going to be a major week for you, Pisces. There's definitely some changes happening, and it could be regarding, a relationship. It could be regarding a work situation. It could be regarding, maybe you're relocating from one place to another. But I definitely want to say that there's kind of been a wake-up call, something that that's happened, and could be regarding your finances, maybe your savings, maybe something with money or material goods. Definitely you've had a wake-up call to this, and I feel like you're just kind of waiting right now, waiting for something to happen. I feel like you're hanging around, you're waiting to see if something is going to change. You're waiting to see if some other some other result will come, or some other change will come. I think you're just waiting to see what will happen next. And I think that you're kind of oblivious. I want to say that, whatever's happened, it could be a sudden change. Something has happened and there's changes already in progress, and I feel like it's going to happen, but maybe you're just oblivious to it. You might even know what's coming, and that's why you're waiting. I feel like it's kind of like a person that knows that a storm is coming, but they neglect to take the umbrella. So they know that they're going to get wet, but they're oblivious to it. They're kind of like happy-go-lucky, or they might just be, um, you know, oblivious to the fact, or not addressing the fact, or just exactly where they are. They're just content where they are, so they're not paying attention to their surroundings necessarily. We see the Nine of Cups. It looks like this is a wish card oftentimes, but we also have a man, or he's sitting here and he can't see anything else around him because he has this blue curtain, so he's kind of like closed in. So that sometimes indicates, maybe he's like oblivious to the things going on around him. So I want to say that you're kind of waiting for a change to happen, waiting for something to happen, and it will. If you keep going down this trajectory, something definitely will happen, but it may not exactly be what you want, and or it may be exactly what you want. Sometimes, we're oblivious to the fact, or we're just content with how things are going, even though we know that it could possibly take a turn for the worst. Sudden changes could happen that we may not necessarily be prepared for. But I do want to say, Pisces, that I feel like even though we have the energy of the tower here, I feel like you're kind of already on the next step, really. I feel like you kind of might know what's going on already. You may know something's happening with your financial situation, with your material situation, your finances. You kind of got like this wake up call. So I feel like you were forewarned. You have some kind of announcement beforehand that came in about your financial situation. So you're just waiting for things to happen, waiting for things to change. And so you're just kind of like, well, that's what it is. I'm sitting here. And you really know that these changes are not in your control, and you know that it's going to maybe possibly take a turn for the worse. So I feel like you're already, ahead of yourself here. I feel like you're kind of already waiting for the next step, and I feel like you're prepared for it. And I feel like, you're ready for whatever kind of restriction could come from this. And I want to say restriction, it could be good, it could be bad, but it's just restriction. It could be bondage. And, it comes to my mind, bondage and money. I'm almost thinking like, do you have like, is there going to be major debt you have to pay? Or, it has something to do with, some announcement that came regarding money, and you know that you have to pay it, you haven't paid it. So you know that something is going to happen here regarding the money situation. And so you're already making a plan for it, knowing that it's going to have to be paid. You're going to have to pay it off sooner or later. Something's going to have to be given back. So that's kind of the message that I'm seeing here for you, Pisces. Like maybe you got this message regarding money and you're just kind of waiting, knowing that there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just be content where you are, and you're already on the next step, Pisces. So you're already ahead of yourself. You're already making plans. You already know that you're going to have to, pay it back. You're going to be having to work for a while. You're going to be bound or restricted for a little while you're having to pay this back. I could almost, I might almost say, is this something also has to do with, if it's a relationship, has there been something that happened in a relationship that, the same thing, the same message comes through. You're just kind of waiting for this change to happen, knowing that you can't do anything about it. Um, you know, and you're going to be bound. Does this have to do with money that you're having to pay? Was it a divorce and you're having to pay money back to an ex? Is it something with, a job loss and you're having to pay money back? Does it have something to do with unemployment almost, is what some kind of message I'm getting from here. Does it have something to do with, do you have to pay unemployment back? But I feel whatever this is, I feel that you're already a step ahead. You're already looking towards the future, knowing that you're going to be restricted for a little while, moving forward. And, there's really not too much you can do about it. This is going to be a major week for you in this regard. You have no choice but to wait and see what happens, knowing that, maybe the worst won't be the worst that you think, actually. Because we always have to take into consideration, we always have it in our head that we think the worst, the absolute worst, that something could go in a certain way, but sometimes it doesn't even go in the way that we think that it might. So that's something to take into consideration. And I feel like with this energy of the Nine of Cups, I feel like, you don't have this anxiety that it might be the worst that will actually happen, because I already feel like you're looking forward. So Pisces, I feel like you're preparing, you're already into the future, you know that it's going to be a little bit dramatic. There may be some major upset here, but you're prepared. You're becoming prepared. You are, looking towards the future, looking towards other possibilities. And, even though you're here, if you are in a restrictive environment for a little bit of time, restriction is not necessarily a bad thing. Restriction, for example, keeps us safe. If we are in the forest and we're running away from tigers, we may have to hide in a cave, with four walls and lock ourselves in to protect ourselves from the tigers, for example. That's one instance of restriction, locking yourself into a safety shelter when there's a tornado. Sure, you're restricted, but you're safe inside that box, inside that basement, inside that safety shelter. So restriction, bondage isn't necessarily always a bad thing. And Pisces, in this situation, like I said, I feel like you're already a step ahead of yourself. I feel like you know kind of what's coming and you're already preparing yourself for it. So that was for Pisces, sun, moon, or rising sign for the week of May 28th to June 3rd. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and have a good week.